change as mentioned before, just to summarize. JDG on red side this time, no Clement, and you can see Kanavi demands the respect of an Udyr ban. A lot of other regions, if you are just tuning in, anyone from NA, EU, OCE, anywhere, Udyr is being spammed by Kanavi and solo queue, so he's getting banned out for it by pretty much every team, and still hasn't been able to pick it up, I'm not sure. Oh, actually, just going to pull up stats here, Clement. No, he hasn't. What a shame.
Yep.
3 games of Lilith, 3 games of Graves, and what we just saw before coming through. Now,
I like this change for Kanavi. Finally jumping onto the Pantheon hype train. He's only played Graves and Lilia before this series, so it's good to see him trying out something new. We know Kanavi as the OG sort of carry style jungler. He won the MVP in last year's spring split because of it. But since everyone else has been picking it up, I feel like Kanavi has sort of lost his edge in some of the tricks that he was pulling throughout most of the season. They have a very good combination in Zoe and Pantheon. Super easy to lock down kills. You just get your chain CC down. It's very easy to force summoners that way as well. And Fofo, once again, on the Syndra, is going to probably have to go into the cleanse just to keep herself alive.
Let's see if it gets paired up with that Olaf we're talking about, right? Because Olaf is such a must pick or ban, but in the first game, it went into the second phase without being touched. This is an opportunity now for Leyan to pair it up, Clement, and he locks it down. So we've got a bit of a strong mid 2v2, right? CC combo, early access to damage.
Yeah, this essentially is a double combo, a double counter coming out from Rare Adam. Olaf can beat out the Pantheon 1v1, and Syndra can beat out the Zoe as well. It's considered a bit of a counter pick in the LPL. So what Rare Adam can do is that they should be able to force their way into their jungle quite easily, just take away farm from the Pantheon and make sure he isn't able to grow up.
Vayne locked in. No support yet. So Rare Adam can start banning away something to keep this safe, but with such agency in the mid lane and such competitive 2v2s, to lock in Vayne, bit of a left hook.
This is an interesting one because we have seen some players go for the Vayne against Kai'Sa. Uzi was most famously the one that loved this matchup. You do have a range advantage over Kai'Sa at 550. And also, Jomong has been going into this one quite frequently as well. So far, we still have seen mainly just the crit build come out for Vayne. No Rage Blades. Not really that many Rage Blades. It's still been the crit build overall. And we have seen some good kill combinations, like TT actually brought out the Vayne plus Braum combo a couple days ago to just dump on the Kai'Sa.
Yeah. I'm curious, what LvMao indexes into, right? Because LvMao has a plethora of picks in the bottom lane. He is one of the most diverse supports on your screen right there. A very good-looking man who deserves the respect. Now, Alistar's going to be banned away by JDG, but Rare Adam have opted in instead in taking away champions from Zoom, so not too concerned about what LvMao picks up.
This is interesting. Usually, JD Gaming on red side, a lot of the times they're willing to give last pick towards LvMao to just let him have a better time in lane. So I think what Rare Adam are doing is they're trying to force the options away from Zoom. If Zoom picks now, they get a counter pick for Cube. He can stay safe into the top side. Looking at the comp, I think JD Gaming are going for something that's a little bit more, again, it's skirmish focus. It's about players chasing in. And if they never have to play a team fight, if it's always skirmish with people coming in slowly, then this is a super strong team composition that can chase down kills. They have a ton of sustain on Aatrox. You never want to be running away from Zoe because she can just pick up your summoners, and running away from Vayne isn't an option either because she has her passive, and that's 90 extra movement speed when she's charging towards you. So JD Gaming have a great skirmish, slowly flowing in composition.
I really like that, Clement. They can chase you down. You do not run away from this comp, so Rare Adam have to commit, find the pick, especially with Syndra, Olaf, Kai'Sa, the engagers there. If they mess up and engage on this team, it looks super sticky from JDG's perspective, right? So we see a Renekton being looked at. Is it going to be Ornn or Renekton? Because maybe they want to simulate getting in that all-in and setting up for the carries in Fofo and Iboy.
I like Ornn a little bit better here, even though it doesn't have the greatest of matchups against the Aatrox. You do have the front-to-back team fight. It's a very solid 1-2 punch and set in Ornn. You can make sure that if you arrive on the scene first, then it's going to be very hard to... Essentially, if if JD Gaming are trickling in while you already have your formations together, then you're going to win 100%. Like, there's just nothing that JD Gaming are going to be able to do. They're not going to have the damage to pick off your members. So I like what Rare does. It's about getting onto the scene first. And JD Gaming, like we were mentioning, a lot of times they do like giving this last pick to LvMao. We talked about this in the first game. He is the heart of the team. And a lot of the times his compositions really define the way they can play. And I like what they have here. They have the Pantheon plus Galio entrance combo. So they're pairing up their chase with double Globos to open it up.
I also like that, you know, in a bottom lane that can be quite sticky as well. You know, partnered up with the Vayne, the taunt adds a lot of extra here. What we've seen in the LPL is the Kai'Sa set lane, level 1s and level 2 are super aggressive, especially on the set side. So I want to see what happens in this early lane, Clement, and how the Vayne can become relevant, how they can get through lane, and what actually happens in the 2v2.
We did mention that Vayne has been a quote-unquote counter. It's not, I wouldn't consider a hard counter, but some players do like the matchup into Kai'Sa. However, with the Galio and with the set there, I do think you still have to favor the side of Rare Adam's bottom lane a little bit more. They have a lot more burst potential early on. And especially when we're talking about the Plasma Stacks and Hail of Blades, we've just seen that combo work so many times. It's really easy to chain up and get early flashes away from that. So for me, Rare Adam still have a sizable lead in the bot lane, but the compositions work very similar to how they did in Game 1, where Rare Adam are trying to walk into that river as a 5-man group, while JDG Gaming are trying to pick them off before that.
Let's see, 5-man versus picks here. JDG versus Rare Adam, Game 2. After what was a very messy start to the series. We got our Vayne, we got the Zoe for Yagao as well. Actually, Zoe for both these mid laners is a very big pick. We'll see if Fofo can abuse the matchup any further as we enter Summoner's Rift once again. No crowd, ladies and gentlemen, of course, for safety. So we'll give you our Gyos. Yagao with the spellbook here. Clement, what are you having a giggle at?
Just looking at the bot lane. People expect the level 1 from Kai'Sa and Set. But do they expect the level 1 with Olaf too?
True, in a bush behind as well. Leyan just thinking about it, waiting. But of course, Loken and LvMao are all the way up towards the Pixel Brush in the river. So no shenanigans going to happen here. And we can talk a little bit further about how this early game should go, Clement. You already mentioned the 5 versus 5 from Rare Adam. But of course, Olaf, early game jungler. His impact, do you want to see towards the bottom lane? Is it about, you know, matching the potential of JDG and trying to hit that bottom lane?
We have seen the way WE plays this lane is a lot of times they just leave Vayne on her own. They don't really emphasize the Vayne lane. They don't really try to gank it that much. Okay. And if we take a look at the runes here, Fofo did swap from Cleanse to Teleport back during the draft. And that does mean that if they can get the hands on her first, she's actually a pretty easy target to pick off for Pantheon and Zoe. So I do expect a lot of action to be happening around the mid lane, and for this bot lane to be
there you go.
quieter.
That's a flash burn from Loken. This is what we talked about. LvMao re-engaged with the Justice Punch, and Hung goes in as soon as the lane starts.
Yeah, that's always a pretty big negative, and I think this is what we're going to see. They're going to play this lane the way that W has been treating it. Just make sure the wave is held in a good position. Galio can actually help you a lot because he does have that pushing power sometimes. And just leave Loken alone. Try to roam LvMao sometimes. Try to find some kills onto the mid lane. And go to other lanes and snowball.
Yeah, use that double global. They're going to get pushed now for the very least, so with Iboy and Hung building up the wave. And Loken should be okay here. Iboy missed a couple of minions as Yagao just trying to roam down and spots out Leyan in the process. Remembering that Leyan here is clearing a little bit faster now onto the Raptors. I should excuse myself because Hung is moving to the mid lane. Hex Flash there. Yagao has committed forward. Trouble Bubble onto Fofo. Scatter of the Week doesn't connect though. The Face Breaker shy of a brick here. And Yagao just walks it out.
In from Hong, the wave is in a pushing back situation, so you're not really going to lose any EXP here. He goes back and can still team up with his jungler and make the life of Loken and LvMao very, very dangerous right here. We can see the ping's already going down. This wave is pushing out. Olaf is around the sector. It's going to be very difficult for LvMao to play this one.
I think LvMao is just going to wait for that ultimate. I apologize. Apparently I turned a little bit robotic there as Leyan moving to the bottom side. Level 4 on this Olaf. And he's only heading for the scuttle now. No vision to spot him out, while Kanavi actually spotted by a ward in the top side. So Cube paying the respect, and it's going to be scuttle for scuttle.
Yep, perfectly okay trade for the side of Rare Adam. They are the ones that are zoning out the bottom lane, or at least they should be. But, you know, this is actually pretty well done by Loken and LvMao. You know, they're playing on the knife's edge, right outside of danger.
Who can get in the end as well. Yeah, Shield of Duran was used just to disengage and keeps Loken safe. Some of the nice interaction in this bottom lane means Leyan is now spotted out waiting for the gank. And Kanavi's just heading directly down to the bottom lane with Ione and Lucidity boots picked up. That 20% ability haste is... Here we go again. Hung with the facebreaker, dodged away from Loken. And this might actually turn against them. The Justice Punch with the Winds of War. Hung's already used the Haymaker. And it's first blood over to Vayne.
Oh, that was a massive misplay, and there might be more pain coming in for Iboy as he's getting flanked.
Iboy has flash and cleanse. Is he going to use it? Waits for the spear. Hasn't burned it yet. The Winds of War and the Condemn. Kanavi picks up the kill, and JDG right off the bat with a 1k gold lead.
Oh, that was actually just pure out execution on the side of JD Gaming. They make sure they miss a couple of minions, but they push the wave as slow as they possibly can, and they stay within their side of the river. So Leyan wasn't able to find the gank. He wastes a ton of time. And on the backhand, Iboy and Hong just lose the 2v2 outright. So, you know, really well done by JD Gaming. And I want to see how this changes the dynamic of the bot lane. We haven't seen the Vayne versus Kai'Sa matchup that much. So I want to see if one kill will swing it massively in their favor.
Well, Hung just keeps trying to rotate. At the very least, the bottom lane's not going to be whole again until he moves back down. Good scout of the week here from Fofo, but... We'll have a look again because Loken and LvMao have been super patient.
Yeah, really good tumble from Loken. He goes backwards, dodges out on the stun, and LvMao able to flash out at the right time, make sure he doesn't take too much damage from the ignite. Iboy definitely overstays right here, and Kanavi picks an easy one.
He got greedy, Clement. Doesn't cleanse in the end as well. Was just thinking he's either going to get condemned or W'd up, so holds onto the summoner spell, accepts death. And now 1-0-1 here on Loken. Kanavi, the same with a kill in his back pocket. And as Iboy comes back out into the scene, Loken happy to absorb, while LvMao also happy to roam. This is a very good position for JDG, Clement. Especially since it's early game. It's going to be a bit of a snowball effect with the Dragon going down, but Kanavi getting that first kill and his ability to set up for the top side of the map.
Yeah, once again, we are seeing... JD Gaming not willing to contest against Olaf, so they will back out of this one. They give the Drake over. And honestly, this is a good sign for JD Gaming, because we talked about this in the pregame. In their most recent series, a huge problem for them was taking fights that they really should be able to win. And sure, a lot of times JD Gaming win fights they're not supposed to anyway, but you can't really bank that on that as a strategy. So watching them give up objectives, understanding that, hey, we can't really contest this one, that's a good sign for JD Gaming. That means they're on the right track.
The only team that can do that is IG, you know, because they've done it for years, right? Fights that they shouldn't take, shouldn't win.
They have the license to kill. That's what it is, you know.
It's the funniest James Bond I've ever seen. Shield Durant again, Hung, Justice Punch, condemned into the wall. Bit of anti-synergy, but still, in comes Kanavi, picks up the kill. So a kill's a kill at the end of the day, and with the push in here, this is just going to be Loken trying to get some free tower plating.
Yeah, and it's not really over just yet. They do spot out where Olaf is on the map, so they know there's no help for Iboy. They're just going to zone him away from EXP.
First tower plate going down. Olaf moving down. Leyan going to be late to the party, but Kanavi having to kill the Iron Spike Whip. It's actually being matched by Leyan in the trade. 3 versus 2. Could be good. Lands the Undertow. Loken slowed down a little bit. Second Undertow dodged away from. Hits LvMao. He Justice punches away, and Leyan won't be able to further follow up, but he does stem the bleeding of what could have been worse.
Yep, good play there from Iboy as well. He backs out, doesn't die to the 3v1. And we're actually seeing a lot of priority develop from the top side for Zoom. He's getting a lot of deep wards, and that's why they were willing to go beyond the tower, knowing that Olaf was rotating from the top side. And that's a big reason why we see a lot of LPL players do like the matchup for Aatrox versus Ornn, even though the Ornn still has the better win rate overall in that one, just because of the team fight setup. But you can easily spot out where the enemy jungle is, and that does allow you to make more plays on the bottom side.
Super easy as we've seen the game be going. 10 CS lead up in that top lane as you were mentioning. Also Zoom now just continue trading in and pushing in the LvMao versus the Phage, the current item matchup. And I'm looking across the jungle, seeing what Kanavi's going to do with the kills. First though, he's going to come up towards the top side as Bellows Breath used. Cube walking forward. He wants the proc and Kanavi's just waiting for him to step too far without that Bellows Breath to stop, and Cube will die.
Yep, Cube fairly low on mana. Ooh, actually goes out on a fortuitous timing there.
True.
Just as Kanavi goes back. And I think this was mainly just for setup on the Herald. We see that Leyan is being pulled toward the Herald as well. And now with Galio's ultimate online, JD Gaming actually have a pretty easy time for finding picks around this area.
Remember what you mentioned is the global composition, right? We got Kanavi, we got the Galio as Fofo just gets burnt a little bit by a 300-year-old girl. Yagao now moving towards the Herald to add pressure. Leyan's been spotted out, but Kanavi doesn't care. He's starting this one up with Zoom having priority. With Yagao just half-healthing Fofo, JDG have position for this well.
Yeah, the most difficult part about these team fights is always trying to rotate your Ornn to align with your backline. And in this situation where Ornn is, he's pushed in, doesn't really have that much mana, I think Rare Item are forced to give this one away. They don't really have any other options.
Well, Herald goes down. Plating still available here for at least 4 more minutes into the game. A lot of options to give it over, Clement. Where do you want to see it placed, and what does it do for JDG with a global comp when you extend these side lanes?
So there's multiple different options. I think the bot lane is most likely just because of the first brick potential, and that will also free up LvMao. What they could do afterwards of getting this bot lane is sending Aatrox towards the bottom side, give him that long lane kind of side lane split push. So I do expect it to be just the bottom side overall, and we do have Pantheon pathing towards bot as well. So I'm guessing another ganking coming.
Well, set yourself up for it. In about 30 seconds, he will have fully cleared with the Iron Spike Whip still there. He's got the Kindle Gem, so close towards the Gore Drinker, while Rare Adam's bottom lane is trying to push up. You also note that Yagao has just come back out on the map after Fofo push, so for Rare Adam, they've got 4 members down towards this dragon first. And this will be interesting, Clement, because you already talked about Rare Adam and how they can set up for some of these fights, and how in this early game, we know the strength of Olaf, we know the strength of Syndra. There is a lot of catch and burst potential.
Yeah, and Fofo's been doing a decent job against Yagao Zoe, probably his best champion ever. However, they haven't been able to extend any of the leads into the enemy jungle because their side lanes are losing that hard. So unfortunately, their double counter pick here doesn't really take any effect. And when it comes to just the pick game, then you have to give the advantage to JD Gaming's mid jungle as well.
Waiting in the brush, using the lack of vision too. Feels like this whole game, JDG have just been controlling bot side vision really nicely. Yagao even going to move into the mid wave, clear this up as Leyan and Hung will be spotted out by this control ward, double control ward actually, as LvMao blocks again. AD carry sticking down the bottom lane. Zoom's TP, he's waiting for that to come up. I think the whole of JDG are. 10 seconds, Clement, and Kanavi now sitting around mid.
Leyan is spotted out here, even with the Ragnarok. He's fairly easy to burst out. And we are going to be seeing, JD Gaming have a pretty iron grip over this river section. Rare Adam are really banking on Loken overstepping and finding a kill here. It's not really going to happen, and I think JD Gaming are just going to start this Drake out by doing a fork into the mid lane. Pretty stock and standard play. Force Fofo out of the picture, and just go to the Drake.
Putting the Herald down, Yagao wants to be in for the gold, though. This makes a lot of sense. He doesn't have a powder keg. He does have a Hextech rocket belt in his inventory, if you're wondering what that tooltip is. Charge comes in, 160 gold here for the Zoe, so Yagao feels really nice. Proto belt almost catches up to Fofo in the end. And you mentioned the dragon. Well, it's not even going to be started. They're like, screw that. Let's just go back and head towards the top side.
Pretty chill plays overall. But Leyan is going to get spotted out.
Ragnarok is available, holds it onto it for now, waiting for the troll bubble to come through, but instead aimed at Fofo. The burst there, Yagao knows it's blocked as Fofo takes another hit. LvMao flashes in forward, Shield of Duran onto 2. Hung goes in, sends him back to the back line. Call the Forge God lines them true as well. And for JDG in this choke, they're getting beaten pretty hard until Zoom comes in. Yagao flashes forward with the troll bubble. The Bellows Breath missed time. Meanwhile, LvMao sacrifices his life, but so does Cube. Solo Lane is left alive, and for Rare Adam, They got Fofo and Hung at the ready.
Small win for JD Gaming here as they don't commit as many members to the pick. However, that was a bit of overforce on their side. They do still win out, but definitely not an intentional play coming from them.
Well said, Mr. Chu. You've lost all, like, you know, well, it's filter, I'll call it. We've lost a lot of filter in this series. We'll watch again because it started all the way back at Raptors.
Yeah, the big difference is, of course, the positional advantage that JD Gaming get. They have their members here on the scene a little bit earlier, and a very good play from Cube here, from Hong, excuse me, as he actually pulls back LvMao and stops the multi-man taunt, or else Zoom, with his priority, should have been able to find a little bit more kills here. Iboy does join the fight as well, so it does give them a numbers advantage in this one. And JD Gaming should consider themselves pretty lucky to walk away on the 2v2. Really good play on Hong to sort of balance that one out.
They got the Dragon as we come back to live. 2,500 gold in their lead. Infernal Soul summoning onto the Rift. And I think also to note is where the kill score went over after that play. Clement, Yagao picked up a kill. I believe Zoom either got another one or it was shared across the board. Where it was Hung who picked up a kill and Leyan on the other side. So it does feel like the kills spread better towards JDG with the resources they have. They come back, they get the Dragon, as we mentioned. They got a lot of turret plating. That's where a lot of this gold lead's coming from. That's why we see Mythics coming out for them first, and why these second items shouldn't be too far behind them.
Yeah, and that's just attributed to the bad laning phase that Rare Atom really found themselves in.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen such a one-sided graph. Most of the times, you trade sides on the map and the turret plating is kind of equaled out. But this is 1-2-8-0 on the side of JD Gaming and nothing for Rare Atom. So just better laning phases coming out from JD Gaming, kind of dictating the pace right now.
Like Rare Atom in a very difficult position. Again, let's just remind everyone that we talked heavily about comps. I don't want to go over this too much longer. But JDG, the pick potential, these one items, when we look at Pantheon, Aatrox, Zoe, even the Vayne with this Kraken Slayer picked up, knowing that JDG, there's so many damage sources that he can kind of maneuver in these fights and feel good about it.
Yeah, and Rare Atom know that they don't have a say in the bot lane anymore. They're going to sack the bot lane tower. It's already down below health for this Herald played. And the big question is, if are JD Gaming going to look to contest this? They're already expending the teleport just to get into this one. This is going to be a hairy one with Rare Atom having the numbers.
Yes, right. Zoom coming in, dodges away. Scout of the week. Not sure if it was used there. Looked away as World Ender there sets up the LvMao. And Fofo getting dunked down. Aatrox Kingdom, baby. Zoom finds kills number one. Hung just wants to get out of there. And now all front to back as Loken has found the play. His auto attacks to the dismay of Rare Atom. This game is over after 4 kills in the basket.
And they don't even pick up the Herald, chased away from the fight. This is the JD Gaming type of team fight that we've been talking about. Just the understanding that, hey, we might not get the objective, but we can cut off all your retreats. Really good pathing from Kanavi. Actually forces Fofo to walk towards the Aatrox, where she is simply no match for that champion with War Drinker. They make great use of their first item, Mythic. Power Spike, and they're pretty much just dunking down the game. 7,000 gold ahead before the 20-minute mark.
Double
we have to watch
that
again.
as well, Clement, because this replay, yeah, you said they didn't even get the Herald after they committed so much for it.
This is a pretty interesting landing spot for Zoom. He actually walks into the ramp, makes sure that Rare Atom doesn't have a path to retreat. He kills Fofo with ease, and the rest of the backline can't really get to the situation. Loken cuts them off onto terrain. Iboy can't find the blast cone in time. Actually, he taps onto the ward, and that delays him from going over the wall. He's found and killed, and Rare Atom once again find themselves in a pretty massive hole.
Zoom gets triple kill after the fact as well. 10.4 CS a minute, by the way. He's 1,300 gold over Cube. I know our audience can't see that. I just want them to know that 180 CS at 18 minutes is very impressive. He's got 4 kills. He's got a Sterix gauge. And Aatrox is so bonkers with these healing items. We're going to see him be unkillable in these team fights. We need to see some Grievous Wounds come out very soon on top of the Thornmail. Because JDG right now, they're going to have a lot of healing and a lot of ability to keep these fights going for a while. LvMao, just punch. I gotta interrupt. Zoe has Hung, flashes away, and here comes Pantheon. But Leyan Kanavi this time. Getting my names mixed up. Won't find anything. Yagao sets up with the paddle star, has stolen a flash, burns it, trouble bubble through the mid lane, and JDG going to stay grouped here, Clement. It looks like they're going to continue to push.
Now they know they have a 5v4 in this situation. Yagao can also poke over the wall.
Yep.
He's going to find some damage on Leyan, but I don't think this one is actually going to amount to much. JD Gaming should just look for the side lanes.
Bubble used, waiting. Redemption's going to heal him up. Cube walked forward thinking he could Bellows breath it. Now Call the Forge God lines down. A 3-man knockup. Zoom heals up though with Gordrinker. This item is silly. Yagao, another trouble bubble. Hungs over the wall. Shielded Duran. Good night, Fofo. And good night, Hung. This is like a children's TV show. We're all going to bed because Rare Adam keep dying.
I really don't like that idea coming in from Rare Adam. They should have let the play go. Going on to Zoom is just not the right idea at this point. And I loved Hong's reaction over the wall, you know? He was waiting right there at Raptors. He was about to use his Hex Flash. He watches Zoom heal up to 100%, and then he just Hex Flashes backwards. He's like, yeah, I'm out of here. I don't want a piece of this. It's all yours, boys.
Had he shred any of the comp of JDG, even Yagao is so hard to hit. We've got a Locket picked up by LvMao as well to amplify that. A lot of healing I mentioned before. Infernal Salt is a couple of dragons away, and Rare Adam tried to re-engage this.
That's the Sterix Gauge, that's the Gore Drinker onto 3, and he also has the Galio Shield over him. Hong actually uses Hex Flash backwards just to make sure he doesn't go into the fight, but then Fofo is found by a Sleepy Troubled Bubble, and JD Gaming walk away where, honestly, they shouldn't have been able to get anything from that, but they did.
Yeah, good shield of Duran from LvMao, and you know, I called this over in one of my calls before, but just after that, 11-3, 3 turrets to 0, 7,000 gold lead, and an Infernal Soul for the taking in 8 minutes, if they so please. At this point, JDG holding up a little bit stronger in this second game, and you know, people will say a win's a win, even though this team doesn't look as clean as it does. As it did rather in 2020, at least we're seeing this game too where JDG are abusing the advantage and snowballing to end it.
It honestly just feels like Zoom is playing a man's game against teenagers. Yeah. They're trying to push and pull against him. He's not budging, you know, he's all like ripped up.
It's like an Adam Sandler movie, you know, the actors that play the people in high school and him are like all 30 years old and you're like a teenager, quote unquote. Leyan walking into a jungle that no longer belongs to him. LvMao going forward, Shielded Rain used to get the Ragnarok. And now suddenly JDG, it's like, well, should we Baron after that? What do we want to do next?
Well, I honestly think they're just waiting for the bot lane to develop. The bot lane wave is still very much on their side of the jungle. Once Zoom does push that all the way to the inner tower, he's either going to take a 1v3 or he's going to teleport towards Baron. It's really up to him at this point. He can play whichever way he wants to. I hope for the 1v3, actually. I hope he stays, because that's the more fun result.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's going to do the safe thing.
Yeah. Gonna walk past a couple of wards. You can see that Rare Adam are just trying to get some defensive vision at this point. Anything to spot out and find a pick with the Ornn ulti, with the Scatter the Weak. Anything that puts them closer to getting back into this game. But 22 minutes in, Clement, we're just seeing side lanes getting pushed in. All jungle resources being taken. And they're trying to bait Rare Adam into thinking that they've started Baron. Hung's here. He's going to get stunned up by Kanavi. Remember, global pressure added with LvMao on the way. Hung gets shielded up. Loken runs in first. He doesn't care anymore. Fofo's used his unleashed power. The Vayne is hitting pretty hard. And Loken now getting that Night Hunter once again. Dodges away from the max range. And JDG with that pick. Maybe it's Baron. Maybe it's more damage.
Fofo tries to ult him with 4 spears, and it barely scratches him. It barely gets through the shield of Durant. And that's just an easy Baron incoming for JD Gaming. You know, Ornn is going to have the inside track here, but I doubt he's going to be able to make it towards River with Zoom there in position. And JD Gaming are turning.
Well, gets pulled back in with Infernal Chains. Double TP Fofo on the left side of our screen, folks. But Cube's not taking it up, especially against a Vayne. Another great reason why this Kraken Slayer was such a great choice. As Yagao moving forward, a 4 versus 5 now. As Zoom has the World Ender available, still hasn't used it. He doesn't care until now. Jumping in the back lane, he flashes in on top of Fofo, gets dunked down. In front of the turrets, Gordrinker's the heal back up to full health. Still lives, gets the Sterix Gauge shield after taking up 17 million turret shots. Lives on. Yagao's in the base. and Rare Adam are just praying for it to be over.
Oh, that build is just ridiculous. Did they really nerf Gore Drinker? I know there's a current PBE bug where Gore Drinker heals you up to 80% missing HP, and regardless, I feel like that's always been the case. It's just such a ridiculous item with Sterix Gauge. He's able to 1v4 that situation, stay in the fight for so long, and not be punished at all.
Lambert, this is just a testament to how much healing there is in this game. You know, just from that one item at the very least, but...
There's also no grievous wounds. Well, Ornn does have it, but, you know, you have to hit the Ornn.
Maybe, do you think Riot was just like, you know, we've heard LS talk so much about why are you buying Morellas, right? And now they're like, well, Morellas is good in a lot of the game because Gore Drinker's so strong. So, but...
let's actually time how long he is. How long he's standing there. He's 1v4 underneath an enemy tower.
5th shot, 6th shot, and survived 6 shots and the burst that should have come out. So, kind of sad. Rare Adam in the replay though tried to get the all Hail Mary Baron, but are stopped.
Yeah, and what is there to do at this point? Honestly, my only question about this game is whether or not Ornn actually gives you Kashmir.
Well, still, what, 300 gold? It's not bad.
Yeah. If you shear the Forge God, will he give you Kashmir?
Question. I love how you ask it the most brain-staking questions. He's got double armor items and still just doesn't matter because you're versing a Vayne. And LvMao walking in, Justice Punch, Shield of Duran.
Oh,
Thank you for the red buff. Thanks for the leash. Loken gonna get knocked up here in the end, but Iboy ulting in even then. They find Loken. That's a great pick, but remember, Kanavi and Zoom still exist. Yagao flies in from the sun, and boy, is it red hot of a play. LvMao jumps in on top of the blast cone. He's gonna follow suit, and the Pantheon flies in from the sky. Kanavi doesn't need help because he has a Gore Drinker. Zoom's gonna tank this one up as Yagao shortly behind him on the heels. Knock up number 1 onto Cube. He runs away with the Searing Charge and the Infernal Chains on it. And JDG still managed to get 3 people for the price of 1.
When you think of the LPL and you think of Aatrox, a lot of you might be thinking about the Shy against G2, but Zoom is here to make a statement. He wants to make Aatrox his champion. We've seen so many 1v4 plays from him in this split, and just to give you guys a reminder, his damage tanking per second before this series was over 1,000. That's what he's doing with the Gore Drinker these days. It's absolutely disgusting on the play. And honestly, this is just Zoom.
It was something like 50% is an outrageous number. Yeah.
Zoom is sending Rare Adam back to the kiddie pool. It's like, you know, this is for the grown-ups. Try at me when you're all 5 members here. I don't really care about this.
When you stop peeing in the pool, right? You know, you don't get to go in the adult pool until you control yourself. So Rare Adam is going to take a while. JDG just kind of deconstructing them at 26 minutes in. It's a 10k gold lead. We knew this one's over. We want to see how JDG cleanly closed it out, as this was a all Hail Mary play, and at least they got Loken.
Yeah, it was a really good play from Iboy. He does have the Collector, so lots of burst damage coming in onto backline targets. Unfortunately, can't find his way out, and I just want to see what HP level Zoom was at the end of this. Doesn't really lose anything. He's just completely full health.
Really get hit. Oh, Unleash Power. he healed off of it. So that was something. Well, he takes no damage because he's got Spirit Visage, and he is going for the Ravenous Hydra by the looks of it. So, well, starting up the Baron, JDG, we go a step further. I just want to see Zoom with the Ravenous Hydra to see how much more healing it adds. As Leyan may be caught out, Ragnarok immediately used. Yagao's here as well. They load some damage down, and Zoom's now walking into the choke, even onto Cube. He doesn't feel like a tank anymore. As he's dunked up, Zoom still not ulting. Trollbubble flies through the sky and into the back line. Sets up for the LvMao ulti. Kanavi has just enabled this game to end even quicker. Loken getting the kill, doing so much more damage as well. And JDG now have free access into Rare Adam's base.
All right, Fofo, this is all about you now. It's the Fofo against the world concert.
And it's
that
over.
ended pretty quickly.
Yeah, people didn't get their money's worth. There's a 2-0 in the cards for sure, and Hung just trying to delay for time. Loken, he's at a very decent game. He'll get dunked down. He'll take up. Hung gets the Pog play of the game. And That's about it, because now for JDG, it's on to the Nexus turrets. A quick night, Mr. Chu. A quick series from JDG, and showing that this team still means business, however much they clean up their play.
I absolutely love the adaptations that JD Gaming made